Hi guys. So today we are going to do profit and loss, and it is one of the highest scoring topic. You can expect 2 to 3 questions every year, and it's a low hanging fruit. So let's understand it fully. We'll do it again in 3 levels. First will be foundation to create a base, and second level will be all the previous year questions that are good enough, and they will actually prepare us for the exam level of thinking, and level 3 will be a few advanced questions so that we can be sure any question that comes, we can face it. So let's start with some basics. For example, to understand what is profit and loss, anything that we purchase in a business, we sell it for some kind of a profit. For example, if there's a soap bar which I bought for 80 rupees and I sell it for 100 rupees, I make a profit of 20 rupees. That is like the whole concept here. So there are some nomenclature that we need to know. Whatever we buy it for is known as cost price, or we denote it with CP, right? We will everywhere use the same nomenclature, so we should be very well aware. Selling price is the price that I sell it for. So this will be a selling price. Now the profit that I've made, which we will denote with P, is basically whatever I've sold it for minus whatever I bought it for. And profit percentage will be how much did I gain or how much did I make profit on a particular cost price, right? Let's say in this case, it is 100 minus 80, which is 20 upon 80 into 100. So 2 by 20 by 80 into 100, or 1 by 4, or 25%. Why is cost price important? Because if I was making the same profit on a higher cost price, the profit will be way more. So CP is very important. For example, if I bought the same soap bar for, let's say, 90 rupees instead of 100, and I still sell it for 100 rupees, this time my profit will be less, right? So let's say my profit is 10 rupees and I made it on 90 rupees. So profit is 10 rupees, but profit percentage is what? 100, uh, and this is 1 by 9. So 100 by 9 is, we can say 9, 11 will be 99, and then 10. So 11.11%. So my profit has reduced, profit percentage has also reduced. Now again, just to understand, if you look in the same example, I'll keep the profit same, but I'll reduce the cost price. For example, I bought it for 60 and I sell it for 80. So profit is again 20, but profit percentage will be profit upon cost price into 100, which is 100 by 3, or 33.33%. So you can see that even if the profit is same, depending upon the cost price, the profit percentage will change. So what we have learned is profit formula and profit percentage formula. Now let's quickly look at loss. Loss will be the opposite case. For example, if I want to sell something, I never want to, but I have to sell something at a lower price. I bought it for 100 rupees and I'm selling it for 80 rupees. This time I'm going to again incur a loss. Cost price again denoted by CP, selling price again denoted by SP, and loss, let's say L. So loss will be selling price minus cost price, then it will be what? Minus 20. So just to not care about that negative sign, we always write loss as cost price minus selling price. Why? Because in this case, cost price is more than selling price. So to keep it positive, to see loss in a whole number, we make it CP minus SP. So you get the logic. Loss percentage, again, it is denoted with respect to cost price. Always, unless the question says that I want selling price to be in denominator, we'll always take by default the cost price. So this is your second set of formula. And in this case, if you look at loss, loss is what? Cost price minus selling price, which is 20 rupees, and loss percentage will be loss upon CP into 100. This I can write as loss upon CP into 100 also, right? So no need to learn any more formulas. Just be comfortable with these two, and whatever variation you see by logic you can understand. So in this case, loss is 20 and cost price was 100. So 20% is my overall loss. Now, if you look at another case where I bought it for 80 rupees and I sell it for 60 rupees, again, loss is same 20 rupees, but loss percentage will be 20 rupees upon cost price into 100, always by cost price, which is 1 by 4. 100 by 4 is 25%. So you look, the loss has percentage has increased while the loss has remained same. So logically, you should always know that loss is a different thing and loss percentage is a different thing because it depends on the cost price, right? Now, there are certain extra terms that we need to know, which is called marked price. Marked price is nothing but the price tag that is put on a certain item. Basically, a price that you have marked the cost price up to. For example, in the previous case, when I was buying something for 80 rupees and I was selling it for 100 rupees, I can mark up the price, right? I can show that, you know what, I'm selling it at 100 and I've marked it up at 110 so that the customer perceives the value of the product as 110. And then I can say, let me give you some kind of a discount and then you can buy it for 100 rupees. So instead of selling directly from 80 rupees to 100 rupees, I marked up the price, then given some discount and then sold it. So these are the two terms that you have to be comfortable with. You will see a lot of them in your questions, and discount also is a lot many times in terms of percentage. So for example, here I've marked it up at 110 and I'm giving some discount and then I'm selling at 100 rupees. So what is the discount? Let's see. Again, now for me, cost price will always be 80 when I'm calculating profit. But in this case, if you look at the profit that I'm making, it is 100 is the selling price and 80 is the cost price. So again, the profit that I'm making is 100 minus 80 and profit percentage will always be calculated respect to cost price. So if you look at it, it is exactly the same as it was in the first case, which is 25%. What is the significance of marked price? So for the customer to understand like what is the overall discount that he has got, let's calculate that. So discount is basically what? He was going to buy it at 110, but he got it for 100. And this discount he is getting at the base price of 110. Don't have to memorize any formula, just by logic we can see that for him the cost price actually looks like 110 only. Why should I tell him that I bought it for 80? For he will always see it as 110. So in this case, when I'm calculating discount, I can tell that you would have bought it for 110, but now you're buying it for 100 rupees. So the discount will be 110 minus 100 upon 110 into 100 if you are calculating discount percentage. So 10 by 110 into 100, which is 1000, or let's cancel the zeros, 100 upon 11, which is 9 is a 99, then 10, so 0, and then 100, so 9.09% will be the discount that they are getting on the product. So, and how much have I marked up the price for? Again, no formula is required. You marked it up at 110 while the base price was 80, and the base price, you always take the base price to see the increase. So you will divide by 80. So this, in this case, you have marked it up by 30 rupees on a base price of 80, and this becomes 300 upon 8, 8 16 24, and then 60, 8 sevens are 56, then 40. 37.5% is the marked up price. So this is basically all the theory that you really need in terms of simple calculations, and how can the question become complex by doing a lot of transactions in terms of selling price, cost price, mark price, discount. But it boils down to common sense, and we will see as we go through the three levels. Now, before we go further, I want to explain the concept of percentage and how to play with it, because it is very important for your overall understanding of arithmetic. And um, let's go through this concept and then come back to the foundation questions. If you multiply anything with more than 1, let's say 1.000001, if you multiply anything with more than 1, it will always increase. It will always become more than x. And if you multiply it by something less than 1, let's say you multiply it by something like this, and it will always decrease. Let it be any number which is just less than 1, it will always decrease, right? So the idea is that if you increase any number by 10%, I know that overall the multiplication factor will be 1 point something because it is increasing. And in the other case, if you decrease a number, let's say by any percent, let's say 20%, because it is decreasing, the multiplication factor has to be 0 point something because it has to decrease, right? Now let's look at it. So if I want to increase something by 10%, I have basically, I will write it like this, right? X plus 10% of x, correct? Now, if I take x common, this is 1 plus 10 by 100 of x, right? Or 1 plus 0.10 or 1.10, right? So you see the multiplication factor is 1.10. Similarly, now you don't have to do all of this calculation. You can simply do, if x is getting increased by 23%, the multiplication factor will be 1.23, because in the same logic, instead of 10 it will be 23, so this will be 0.23 or 1.23, so you will reach here. But don't do all of this, just remember this: anything you want to increase, let's say 17%, simply increase it by 1.17. Okay, if it is more than, let's say it is 117.5%, then what? So just add all those decimals. After, you would have done 1.17, but because it is 17.5, this 5 will just automatically come here. Why? Look at the logic. If you increase it by 18%, it's basically a multiplication factor of 1.18. And because it is less than 18 and it is more than 17, it has to be between 1.17 and 1.18. So it has to be 1.175. So learn this as a thumb rule. Don't overthink it. Understand it and then learn it so that you can do calculation fast. If I'm increasing something by, let's say, 18.12345 6%, the multiplication factor would have been 1.18, and now whatever is there, just add it. This is your multiplication factor concept. Now see, look at the entire thing in the with the perspective of decrease. If I have a number and I decrease it by 10%, what will you do? X minus 10% of x, right? You're decreasing it by 10%. Take x common, this is this, or this is 1 minus 0.10, right? Or it is basically 0.90. If you want to look at it in another way, you would have done taken LCM, it would have been 90 upon 100, or you come to the same 0.90. Multiplication factor is 0.90. Why? You've seen it, but how to remember it? Just whatever it is decreasing from, I know it has to be 0 point something because it is decreasing. Whatever it is, just subtract it from 100 and put it as point that number. So if I'm decreasing, let's say something by 20%, I know it has to be 0 point something, and 100 minus 20 is 80. So 0.80. If I'm decreasing something by 17%, again, point something and 100 minus 78, it won't be 0.17. Don't do that mistake, because it's not point. If you're decreasing by 10%, it doesn't become 0.1010, 10x, right? It was 0.90x when we saw it slowly. So 100 minus 17 is 83. So it will be 0.83. Just to make you appreciate this entire concept, if I increase a number by, let's say, 10%, it becomes something else, and then I decrease the number by 20%, it becomes something else, and then I increase it by 5%. What is the overall increase or what is the overall decrease? So instead of doing it in this way, that 1 plus 10 by 100, 1 minus 20 by 100, because the same number is now getting decreased by 20%, same number is now getting increased. Don't do all of this. Simply directly write increased by 1%, 10%, decreased by 20%. So 100 minus 20 is 0.80 and increased by 5%, right? If it was 10%, 1.10, but now it is 5%, so 1.05 it will be, right? I hope you're able to understand this concept. Now multiply this entire thing and always ignore the zeros that are after decimal so that you don't get confused. Let me just show you so that that basic base is clear. 105 into 8, 8 5 is 40, 8 1 is 8. So when you multiply these two, ignoring the decimal, you see 8 and you see 105, which is 840, and then there are 1, 2, 3 decimal. So 1, 2, 3 decimal. So this is how you do it in in the fastest way possible. But don't be that fast that you make some silly mistake. That's why I'm showing in slow motion. So again, ignoring the zeros which are after decimal. Now 84 and 11. I see 84 and I see 11. So 84 and 84, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 924, or 1, 2, 3 decimal. So 0.9, because it is point 0 point something. So obviously it has decreased, but by how much percentage? You can directly tell from here. It would be 7.6 percent. Why? Because if it was decreasing by 7%, what would you have done? 100 minus 7 is 93. So you would have multiplied by 0.93, right? And if it was 7.6%, what you would have done? 100 minus 7.6, which is this is 4, this is 9, so 2, and this also becomes 9. So you would have done 0.92, and I told you whatever is after decimal, just put it here. So how do you see why did I get to 7.6 directly? Because I saw 100, I didn't see 924, I saw 92.4, and I quickly subtracted it from 100 and I got 7 here, 7.6%. So I know the decrease is 7.6%. So it takes time initially, but once you get comfortable, it's very easy to talk in terms of percentage very fast. And we will be using it across not just this topic, but all of the arithmetic topics. So I hope that this topic is clear and we can move ahead with solving the fundamental questions. Let's look at question number 1. A shopkeeper buys an item for 450, directly writes CP as 450 and sells it at 540. What is the profit percentage? Again, I'm showing these so that your foundation is strong. So do this assignment just to be sure that you are very comfortable with all type of calculation, all type of language. Then proceed to level 2, which is actually CAT level and which is actually what we can expect in the exam, not these type of direct questions. So what is profit? Don't do SP minus CP again and again. Just quickly you can write that 540 minus 450. Had it been 440, it would have been 100, but this is 450, so 90. And I know profit percentage is P. You can write the entire formula again and again, but in your mind, you don't need to. You just have to directly calculate. Okay, profit was 90. It's always base is always taken as cost price, and this I'm gonna multiply by 100. So these two zeros go 9. 5s are 45, 5, and this will be 20. So you can directly say 20%, right? Do a lot of calculation in your mind so that you don't end up writing all the steps because we're not getting any step marking. We're trying to do everything fast so that we can, attempt as many questions as we can in those 40 minutes. A man sells a table at a loss of 8%. So directly write what is the loss? Loss is 8%. That's what I've got. Had he sold it for 120 more, he would have gained 4%. Okay, so something is happening. Again, by default, there was some cost price, there was some selling price, but he's saying had he sold it for 120 more. So if selling price was 120 more, he would have gained 4%. What is the cost price? Can I assume that cost price is same here? Why? Because the question language is in this way that they're already a variable, so it's safe to assume, right? That it has bought something and now after selling it at a loss, he is wishfully thinking that I wish I would have sold it for 120 more and increased my selling price, but cost price is same. So now in this case, again, loss percentage. So you know the formula. Loss percentage is basically loss upon CP into 100. That's what we have learned. So you don't need to write it. You can directly write 8 is whatever the loss was, and loss also because I have to use SPCP everywhere, so I can directly say it is cost price minus selling price. Initially, you might put selling price minus cost price, but with practice, you will not make these mistakes. So it's completely okay. So nothing else I can substitute. Let this be my first equation. Now, next time, profit percentage, which because it's the first few questions, we will write it in this way, but I want you to directly write profit, whatever it was, which is always selling price minus cost price upon cost price. And this is not selling price, this is new selling price, which is SP plus 120 in this case. Minus cost price remains same, and this whole thing into 100. This is my second equation. Now what? So let's simplify it. Let's see what is the first equation saying. I can cross multiply because at the end there are two variables SP and CP, and I know that I'll calculate both, but my eyes should be on cost price. So let's see. So 8 CP, this 100 also we need to take care of, right? Better to divide them first upon second, right? I hope this is clear. Let's just quickly let you know that if you have two equation x plus y is equals to 4, x minus y is equals to 6, you are very comfortable in adding these two equations and then getting x as 5, right? And you're very comfortable in subtracting these two equations. For example, x plus y minus x minus y is equals to 4 minus 6. This also you can do. X and x will get cancelled. This will become 2y is equals to minus 2 or y is equals to minus 1. Similarly, be very comfortable that you can also do 1 upon 2. For example, x plus y upon x minus y is equals to 4 by 6. This is also correct. So from here you get 6x plus 6y is equals to 4x minus 4y, or 2x is equals to 10y, or x is equals to 5y, right? And in this case, you can see, wait, 6x, and this will become here. So this is minus 10y, this is minus 5y. So you can see x is also 5, y is also minus 1, correct? So you can do all of these, and we will do it a lot. So if you have not seen it or you're not comfortable, just try it a few times in the question and then you will learn it. Don't get overwhelmed that there are so many things that I don't know. Every time you hit that in any solution or in any concept video, just make a side note, be comfortable with it, and now you know that. So there will be a lot of things that you have to take a detour from the subject because of some basics of algebra. For example, this was basics of algebra, that percentage was basic of arithmetic. So it's okay to take those detours because it becomes a full circle at the end of the day when we cover the almost 20 topics in quant. And if you look at it in a very broad way, they're all connected. And that is why we start from very basics: LCM, HCF, ratio, average. I have small videos on all of these. You can quickly brush up, but we start from arithmetic. We start from simple interest, compound interest, profit and loss, time and work, and then we gradually go to algebra basics. Because when you go to modern math, geometry, we know that these mensuration, these all will become part of the questions, right? So let's do it 1 by 2, which is basically 8 by 4 in this case. And this is what, see, let's just write it, because I would have, in my mind, I would have cancelled 100 then and there, but I'm writing it so that you can visualize what we're doing here. Don't do these silly mistakes. Remember what you're writing. Don't do such rough work that you forget that it's CP is entirely in the denominator and 100. So basically, these 200 will get cancelled, this will get cancelled, and this becomes, and in fact, the denominators will also get cancelled. And I hope that this also is clear. If it is x by a and this is y by a, you can cancel these two y. Let's say this is equal to something. So anyway, when you will take it there, you will cancel a now. So be comfortable in cancelling it then and there also. Okay. Now, how does the question becomes? 2 times. This is basically SP minus CP. This is 120. I can kind of write it in any way and I'll come to the same answer, but I try to not do a lot of calculation then and there and keep the things as they're coming and then see if I want to do the calculation. So in this case, there was nothing to calculate, but I'm just writing all the things and then I'll decide. So again, I can open the whole brackets because and write it in this way, but I'll skip this step and I'll directly see it is 2 SP. So and this SP will come here, so this will become 3 SP. This is minus 2 CP, which will go there. This will become 3 CP, and 12 into 2 is 12, 240. So this will stay here, right? And these are all multiples of threes, and don't see it as 35p. Be very sure that this is S and this is 3. So be very mindful of how you are making your rough work, because there are a lot of chances of getting lost in some silly mistake. So this is SP plus 80 is equals to 3 is equals to CP, because 3 was removed from all the sides. Now what? This is my first equation, right? I'll just use it and put it somewhere. I'll put it in the first one. 8 CP is equal to CP minus SP. This was the first equation, right? So I'll put it here. So 8 is equals to CP minus SP upon CP into 100. This is my first equation. And because I want CP, I'll remove SP. SP is what? CP minus 80. Let this 100 come here. So this is CP will get cancelled. This will become 80. 80 upon CP is equals to 8 by 100. So this 8 and 8 will get cancelled. P will come here. This will go there. CP will become 1000 rupees. It would have been like very quick, but I wanted to take detours to explain the calculation part. And that is the whole idea of these concept foundational videos. If you're already comfortable, go to level 2 directly. By selling a pen for 90 rupees, a shopkeeper gains 20%. So profit percentage I know is 20. And selling a pen for 90. So CP is not 90, SP is 90. And this is how you have to be mindful of the language. Find the cost price. Again, very direct question. 20% profit is selling price minus cost price. Selling price I already know 90. Cost price I don't know, let it be X. Whatever you need to always find, put that as X, so that as soon as you get X and you mark the option, because this is human nature. So always whatever needs to be found, assume that as X. Okay, so upon CP into 100. So this is basically 100 will come here. So 1 by 5, and this is 90 by X minus 1, right? 90 by X is equals to, this will become 1 plus 1 by 5 or 6 by 5, and X will be cross multiply. X will go there, 5 will come here, and 6 will come down. So 90 into 5 by 6, or 2s are 3s are 30, 15, 15 5s are 25, the 5, 6, 7. So X is 75. Also, it's not about the answer. I just want to show you that you will see profit percentage you saw as SP minus CP upon CP into 100. You might see it as SP upon CP minus 1 into 100. That is also the same thing. So don't learn it as another formula. Only formula we need is this. Similar loss percentage, you have seen it like this, but you might see it like this also. Why? This fraction will always be either, something, and overall, because it's a loss, I know it will come as something, 0 point something, which will get multiplied, and I'll get loss percentage. So why 1 minus? Because it has to be less than 1. That's why it's showing as loss. Anyway, let's go to question number 4. A trader marks his goods 40% above the cost price. Now is the marked price well apart, and you will see that it's nothing. A trader marks his good 40% above the cost price. So now you can write it is cost price plus 40% of cost price, but what we just discussed was that it is 1.40 of cost price, because it is marked up its good at 40%. That means it has increased its cost price by 40%, and he allows a discount of 10%. So what is selling price? We have basically now decreased the mark price by 10%, right? So, and 10% decreases 0.90 multiplication factor. So this also you can directly write. Find the profit percentage. For profit, I need cost price, I need selling price. I don't care about the mark price, right? So let's remove mark price from here and then see what will be the profit percentage. Let me write it here. Again, selling price minus cost price upon cost price into 100. From here, can I say mark price, let's just equate mark price. From here, I could have written mark price as SP upon 0.90. Now equate these two. So 14 nines are 9, 18, 27, 36, 9 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 126 CP and 2 decimal points is equals to SP. This is my first. And now comes the part where I can directly write it like this also. And I can write SP upon CP as 1.26 into 100. This also you could have skipped and directly write 0.26. When you saw it 1.26 and you saw -1, you could have directly write 0.26. 26%. This is your profit. Let's go. Question number 5. An article is sold at a profit of 25%. If it was bought at 20% less, let there be some cost price, some selling price. If it has been bought at 20% less, or 0.80 CP it was bought at and sold for 63 rupees less. So this is the new selling price. There would have been a profit of 30%. See, from here you can see that basically this is also something where we will write a lot. If you're increasing the cost price by 25%, that is the same as you're gaining a profit of 25% on cost price. So instead of writing profit percentage as SP minus CP upon CP into 100, a very quick way is that you increase the cost price by 25% to get to selling price. You will get here only using this also, because if you take 100 here, this is 0.25 CP, SP minus CP, or SP is 1.25 CP. So be in a habit of skipping all of this, and whenever you get profit, you know profit is same as increasing a number by 25%. So I can write this. In the same way, I can write that SP is CP. This is new CP, this is new SP, and 1.30 of CP is SP, right? Now, if you let's just quickly see if it gets remove all these decimals after zeros after decimal. 8, 16, 24, 8 ones are 8, 9, 11, 9, 10. Right? 8, 6, 24, 8 ones are 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2. So 1.04 CP. This is your second equation. I need to find the cost price. So let's just remove SP. 1.25 CP minus 63 is 1.04 CP. And this will become 1.1125. 0.21 CP is equals to 63. CP is 63 upon 0.21, or this will become 63 upon 21 to 100. 3 is up. So 300 is the first price. Right? So be in a habit of writing, cost price and selling price in this way. That is why I was stressing upon this multiplication factor initially. Let's do question number 6. Find a single discount equivalent to two successive discount of 20% and 10%. Again, discount is basically reducing a number, right? When you say that I'm giving some 10% discount on cost price, you're basically reducing the price by 10%, or from whatever we've learned, the multiplication factor will be directly 0.90. So in this case, there's some amount X on which you gave 20% discount and then you gave 10% discount. So what is the overall discount? So 9 8 is 72, and remove all the zeros after decimal. So the two zeros, so 0.72. So you basically gave how much discount? Not 72%. You gave how much? 28%. Because if I asked you to decrease something by 28%, you would have 100 minus 28 is 72, so 0.72. Why? So now similarly you can say 28% is the overall discount. A dealer buys 20 chairs for 8,000 rupees. So what is the amount money that he has taken out from his pocket? 8,000, and he got 20 chairs from it and sells it at 450 per chair. Now this is also very important. If you have identical objects, the profit or loss you will make on that one unit is same as you will make on 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 1,000 units, 10,000 units. if the things are identical, right? If the things are not identical, you bought it for different prices, then it doesn't apply. But if the items are bought at the same price and they're sold at the same price, the profit you will gain on any number of units, whether 1 or 10 or 100, it will be same. So in this case, I can say SP is 450 per chair. So cost price will be not 8,000, but 8,000 upon 20, because I want per chair. So which is 400 per chair, and makes sense. 400 में लेकर 450 में बेच रहे हो, makes sense. 400 में लेकर 8,000 में बेचो, doesn't make sense. So have some common sense also on, so that you can make better sense of these numbers. Find his overall profit or loss. Okay, I know it's a profit, so there is no point about being confused between profit and loss. What should I multiply 400 so that I can get 450? This is also one way to think about it, just like we were doing. But in this case, it's like profit is 50 on 400. So 50 by 4, 25 by 2, 12.5%. So you have to like be comfortable in both the ways. Should I look things in this way, which I just saw, that SP is CP into some multiplication factor when profit, or CP into some multiplication factor when loss, or should I see it in the formula that we've just seen, right? You have to be comfortable in both, whichever is getting applied. Just look at it in that way. This is also correct. This is also correct. Most of the time, this makes very much sense, because you don't have to go through all the formulas, and a lot many times you have to go through the formulas. A shopkeeper allows a 15% discount on the marked price of 800. So this time marked price is 800. Don't get scared when they talk about marked price. Just use common sense. So on marked price, he's allowing a 15% discount, which is just reducing marked price by 15%. Find the selling price. That's it. That's it. So basically, what do you want? You want selling price. 800 was the mark price. You multiply it by 0.85, you'll get your selling price. Why? Because there is no concept of cost price now. You've already marked up the good. Why should you care on what I bought? Right? So marked price is the one on which you will give that discount. So you've basically decreased marked price by 15%. And that is where this concept really makes a lot of sense. So it is 8 into 85. 85 into 8, 85 is a 40, 88 is 64, 68, so 680, and there are two decimals, so 6.80. Also, there are these two zeros here, so this will be 680. I would have seen it as I already, uh, reduced, gave these two zeros to this, and it became 85. So there is no point of decimal. 680 is the answer. Now let's go for question number 9. Cost price of 12 pen equals to cost price of 12 pen is equals to selling price of 10 pen. This is what the question is saying. Find the profit percentage. Now you can directly see that from here I can see SP upon CPS 12 by 10. So when I say profit percentage, I will see it SP minus CP upon CP into 100. Or I can see it like this directly. It will just save me one step, right? SP minus CP, you will take CP individually, and you will find this. So this is basically 12 by 10 minus 1, or 12 minus 10 by 10, or 2 by 10, or 1 by 5. So this is 100 by 5. So the answer is 20%. Or you can write it and then see it slowly. But you have to be comfortable. So 12 minus 10 is 2 by 10 into 100, or 20%, right? Let's go. Question number 10. A man buys an article for 600 rupees. Okay. And sells it at 12% loss. Okay. Find the selling price. So again, you know that loss percentage is basically CP minus SP upon CP into 100. And from here, as you can cross multiply, let's get rid of this. So 12 is equals to 600. Let's take it common, 100 minus SP by 6. SP by 6 is 100 minus 12, which is 88. So SP is 88 into 6. 8 6 is 48. Again 48. 9 50 50 52 528. A direct application, nothing to really think more of. Just want you to get comfortable. A retailer buys a radio of 1500, sells it at 1800, find the gain percentage. So he has bought 6, 7, 8, so 300 rupees on 1500 rupees. This is basically 20% profit. This is how fast I want you to also think. Mark price of an article is 2000. Also, be in a way, I usually write it like this if there's a lot of big numbers, but you have to see if it is worth writing. In that case, you don't have to, you will not get confused. You can directly keep taking K till the end. You have to, solve after discount. So, after discount, that means you're reducing this number. Again, it's a direct application of 2000 into 0.75 or 20 into 75 or 1500 rupees. A trader sold an article. I've marked stars on questions that are like at least a level better than very basic questions. So if you don't have much time, at least browse through the star questions in fundamental level one. A trader sold an article at a loss of 15%. Okay. So it has basically reduced by 15% and gotten to an SP. Had he sold it for 300 more, if the selling price was 300 more, he would have gained 5%. Find the cost price. Simply, you can write from the first equation that selling price is 0.85 of cost price. From the second equation, you can directly write this 1.05 of cost price, right? So now, what do you do? What do you want? You want cost price, you want to remove selling price, just do 2 minus 1. So this is 300. This is 0.20. Why? Because this is 0.05 more than 1, 0.15 less than 1. So 0.20 to C2. CP is 300 upon 0.2. Never pay heed to any zero after decimal, or 3000 upon 2 or 1500. Why have I marked it star? Because I wanted you to use this way of solving. The shopkeeper sells an article for 900, incurring a loss of 25%. Find the cost price. Sells an article. Oh, see, don't write it here. Sells an article. So SP is given and he has incurred a 25% loss on the cost price. So cost price into 0.75 is 900 because there's a loss less than 1. 100 minus 25 is 75, 0.75. So 90000 upon 75. 25 threes are, 25 fours are, right? This is this now. So 936 or 1200. Question number 15. I want you to kind of always solve the assignment, all the 20 whatever questions are there in level 1, then come back to the video and if you have any doubts. So I'm solving it in a way thinking that you've already tried all of them. A shopkeeper sells an article for 680. Profit is 25%. Find the cost price. I'm just gonna quickly solve it because it's pretty easy now. But you know what is the thing that I'm trying to teach here is cost price into 1.25 is equal to 680. Be in a habit of writing it like this. So 680, these two zeros will come here. This will be 125, 25 fives are, and this is basically 680 into 100 into 10, 25 fours are, and this is 5 twos are. So basically 68 into 8, 8 8 is 64, 8 5 is 40, 48, 49, 50, 544. I hope you're also able to grasp that you don't really need to solve in a specific way, but the way I'm solving, if you can observe and learn something from that, I'll be very happy. Two successive discounts of 10% and then 20% are given on a marked price of 5,000. Find the final selling price. Simple. I don't care about whatever this number is. I know that 5,000 first decreased by 10% and then decreased by 80%. 20% got me the selling price. 9 8s are 8 are 60 for 72, and then never pay heed to the zeros after decimal. 0.72 into 5,000. Okay, let me write 5,000. 72 into 50. 5 to the 10. 7 35, 36. 3600 is the answer. A man buys a watch for 800, sells it to a friend at 5% loss. Okay, because it is buying, cost price this, selling price is 5% loss, so 800 into 0.95. The friend, okay, a man to a friend, and then the friend is to some other person at a gain of 10%. Find the final selling price. So the way to see it is that when you bought the selling price as 800 into 0.90, 0.95, now this selling price is what he bought it for. So for him, this will become the cost price. Okay, we'll calculate if we have to. And then this cost price is getting sold at a profit. So this into 1.10, this will be his selling price, which will in turn be the cost price for this guy. Someone's selling is someone's buying. So someone's selling price will be the another person's cost price. That is the concept that I want you to grasp. So this is the cost price for him, and they want the final selling price. So this is the final selling price. It was never sold after this, right? This was the final selling price. Now the answer part: 8 5 is 40, 8 8 is 6 is 72, 76 into 1.1, and this is basically 76 into 11, 76 into 11, 12, 14, 8, 836. Question number 18. If the selling price of an article, if selling an article for 450 rupees gives the same profit as selling an article for 350 gives loss. Okay. So some cost price was there, and if the selling price was this, there is X% profit. And if the same price is it is sold for 350, then there is same X% loss. Again, what will you do? This time I can't write 1 point something because it is in X terms, right? But I can still write 450 minus cost price upon cost price into 100 is X. Because if it is 20%, you would have written 20. And in terms of loss, don't write 350 minus CP. You know, it's the CP minus SP, okay? And this will happen a few times, but then once you become conscious, it won't, right? Don't no need to write minus x. Loss का formula ही CP minus SP से लिखते हैं जिसमें minus minus हट जाए. Obviously, right? So you know that these two equations are correct. Now what will you do? Do you want x? No, you want CP. So divide the two. 450 minus CP upon CP minus 350. 100 will get cancelled. X will get cancelled. 450 minus CP is equals to CP minus 350. 350 will come here. This will become 800. 2 CP. It will become from here. CP will be 400. Right? Question number 19. A man sells an article at a certain price. Had he sold it for two-thirds of that price, he would have incurred 10% loss. Find his actual profit. Here, let's say there is X profit. Again, CP was same. And now, what will we do? Let's just write the equation since it is profit SP minus CP upon CP into 100 is X. Now, don't do this mistake of SP minus CP again. Don't write it like this in haste. Loss is CP minus SP upon CP into 100 is 10. I can divide the two, but I don't want X. I want X. Again, so this is also a good way to do it. Let's just write it in SP by CP form, and then we can equate the two and get X. So first equation, if you look at it, you can see it in this way. And second equation, if you look at it, can you see it in this way? Right? Now just equate SP by CP from both the sides. X by 100 plus 1. SP by CP is this. And from second equation, you can write SP by CP is 1 minus 1 by 10. And this is 2 by 3, which will come here and become 3 by 2. This is 9 by 10. Correct? Now equate the two. X by 100 plus 1, 27 by 20, x by 100. If minus 1 will come here, 1 will come here and become minus 1, so 7 by 20, 35%. I think this is last question. Question number 20. A merchant marks up his goods by X%. Marks up his goods. That means he's increasing the cost price by X%. That's what it means. And then gives a discount of X% on the marked price, resulting in an overall loss of 4%. This is again the same thing. So 1 plus X by 100, 1 minus X by 100, right? Whatever the CP was, this is what has happened. And it's overall 4% loss. You know how to write 4% loss. Like this, both are SP, but we can write it in this way. So basically x1 minus x square by, I hope you're aware a plus b into a minus b is basically a square minus b square, right? If you're not, let's take a quick detour because these are very obvious things that you should know and you can cover it in quadratic equation or algebra basics. But let me just quickly show it here also. This you should know, and this you obviously you already know, but if you don't, I'm just quickly revising you. And these three are like obviously you should know. Also, I hope that you know this also. A cube minus b cube is a minus b into a square plus b square plus ab. This also you should know. If it is minus, let it be minus at the start, but then it will become plus. If it is plus, let it be plus at the start, then it will become minus ab. I hope these all are at your, fingertips because these are very important when we're solving. I quickly saw a plus b and a minus b, and I made it a square minus b square is 0.96, or this will come at 0.04. See, don't you can do cross multiplication also. I could have seen it like this. So x by 100 is 0.2 or x is 20. You could have cross multiplied also directly, and x square is equals to 400 or x is 20 in any case. Now what we will do is we will go to level 2, and I want you to first quickly go through these 20 questions again or the selected ones just to know that you're comfortable, and then we'll proceed to next set of questions which are CAT level 2. All right, happy learning.